I'm sorry, guys. I realized I was muted. This has been a bad show. Sorry about that. I've been muted this whole time, so you guys haven't been able to hear me. Really sorry about that. I went over a bunch of scores. Me and Hunter had this issue for one time. It's still a new show. We have full-time jobs. Welcome to the Northeast Ohio Sports Show. Sorry to be 10 minutes late talking again. If you guys are like trying to find audio, I'm going to wave my hand so you guys know. Oh, hit my mic. That audio is working right now. Sorry about that. But it's Thursday, April 10th. Hunter is not able to be here. He had a concert. He got free tickets for tonight. This is our 5th episode. Let's go over some scores real quick. I'm going to take a drink of water because I just got done talking about scores. So I'm about to reset. One apology. Below we still have for Japanese Grand Prix. We see the winners there. Bahrain's this weekend, but we'll be talking about that here in a little bit. And I should have that updated. Cavs are tied with the Pacers, 76-76 with a minute 20 in the third. The Guardians beat for White Sox today. So now the Guardians are 6-6. Penguins play the Blue Devils tomorrow. Penguins are 32-35. New Jersey Red Devils. The Red Devils are 41-30. Right now, Masters are looking pretty good. First round. Still have some to go until Sunday. Right now, Justin Rose is winning -7, which is actually very good for him. Sometimes if you can get like a -7, you'll see like Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas are +1 right now. So it's going to be hard to win. We have this guy, Corey Connors from Canada, -4, tied second. Scott Scheffler, Scotty, -4, tied second. Ludwig Eberg, he's also tied second, -4. We have Bryson DeChambeau, -3. Jason Day, -2. -3 is tied for 5. -2 is tied for 7th. Kim, -1. Dustin Johnson, -1. That's tied for 11th right now. Fitzpatrick, -1. Sean Lowry, -1. I believe he's won before. Sergio Garcia, even, and that's at and that's tied for 27th right now. Rory McIlroy, even, tied for 27th. Like I said, Justin Thomas, Fleetwood, Machiyama, Xander are both +1, tied 38th. In NCAA, for women who won were UConn, the national championship, and for men, Florida ended up beating Houston in the national championship. So that was a very good game, very close. Right now, Phillies and the Braves are tied for bottom of 6. Angels beat the Rays today 11-1. Royals beat the Twins 3-2. Rockies beat the Brewers 7-2. Red Sox beat the Blue Jays 4-3. Knicks are beating the Pistons by 78-76. With 4:30 in the third. Right now it's halftime for the Hawks Nets. 69-49. Hawks are winning. 7 minutes left in the second for the Pelicans and Bucks, and Pelicans are up 41-38. And then the Grizzlies play the Timberwolves at 9:30. The Blackhawks are tied with the Bruins, end of the second. Panthers are Panthers are up on the Red Wings 3-1, end of the second. Sabres are up on Blue Jackets, end of second 2-1. Hurricanes are up on the Capitals, end of first 1-0. Rangers are up on the Islanders with 13 and a half minutes left in the second 4-0. Jets are up on the Stars 1-0, end of the first. Canucks, Vancouver play Colorado Avalanche at 9. Predators play the new Utah Hockey Club at 9. Kraken play Golden Knights at 10, and a lot of this on is Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN Plus, it says. Ducks and Kings play at 10, the West Coast games. I hope everyone's having a really good night. I'm sorry for that delay again in both me kind of being here and then also having the issues of audio. If you like what you're seeing, please give a like, give a subscribe, share us on our social medias. Like I said, both me and Hunter both have full-time jobs, so it's kind of busy sometimes. But we get it done. 1 second, I feel a cough coming. I hope everyone's having a great week. We made it. It's almost Friday. Work week, it's pretty much Friday, so that's good. Now we're going to go on to our topics for the week. Like I said, Hunter wasn't able to be here. He had a concert. So, our funny topic for this week's kind of like for Stephen A. still beefing with LeBron. We'll probably talk about a little of this next week with Hunter, because I want to talk about it with him. But it's an interesting topic because ever since LeBron spoke up with Stephen A. at one of the basketball games, because of Stephen A. talking about his son Bronny, Stephen A. has just gone on a world tour to complain about LeBron and say he's a bully and all this BS. This cleansing his pill is really hard right now. And it's kind of not fair, but whatever. I'm going to pull up F1 standings real quick and we'll go over those. Like we see down here, we talked about last week because we had, Japanese Grand Prix was last weekend. Max won. But for standings right now, it's still Lando Norris in first with 62. Max is in second with 61. Oscar for McLaren. Max is for Red Bull. Lando for McLaren. Oscar is 49 in third. Then we have George Russell with 45 in fourth. And Andrea Kimi Antonelli for Mercedes with 30th. Andrea is on track to beat Lewis Hamilton's record as most points by a rookie. He's going to be an 18-year-old Italian when he does it. However, he would need 270 to actually have for weighted points because F1's points have changed throughout for years. But right now the record's 160. But since the points have gone up, he would actually need 270. But they would give it to him at 160. They don't really change records like that. Charles Leclerc for Ferrari is in 6th of 20th. Alexander Albon for Williams is in 18th. Lewis Hamilton for Ferrari is in 15th. Esteban Ocon for Haas, American team, just like Williams, is in 9th with 10 points. Lance Stroll is in 10th with 10 points. Constructors. McLaren's leading with 111. Mercedes in second with 75. Then Red Bull is in third with 61. Ferrari's in fourth with 35. Ferrari's double disqualification is really going to hurt them. They're going to need Red Bull to have a double crash one weekend, which it might happen, to start to be competitive again. That double DQ really hurt them at the beginning of the year. Williams at 5th with 19. Haas at 6 of 15. Aston Martin at 7 of 10. Racing Bulls, Red Bull's second team, 8th for 7 points. Kick Sauber, 9th place of 6 points. Alpine in 10th place of 0 points. For the Japanese Grand Prix, Max Verstappen, I believe he took pole, which is crazy. People weren't expecting it, but he had a really good lap, and he ended up taking the race. A lot of people call Japan a new Monaco. I love Japan, kind of like Monaco too, because of the race and the people, the community, and how it looks like Japan's just a beautiful race course. If they had it in Fuji like they used to do, that'd be very pretty. Or Fiji, sorry, Mount Fiji. But Suzuka's a very beautiful track, and they still have all the cherry blossoms, and all the fans go crazy for that. Lando Norris got second for McLaren, and Oscar Piastri got third. Now, there were times in the race that seemed like Lando could get first, but it's a very hard track to pass, and like I was saying last week, there's only one DRS zone, or ability, in F1 to have the active arrow, so the rear wing in F1 is always closed, but they have certain DRS zones, which means drag reduction system, on the racetrack that are straightaways, where for rear wing, if a top flap will open up, there's a mechanism that allows it to open up, and it allows more air to pass through, so it makes the cars have way less drag. They can't do it on turns or you'll crash. This happened at Suzuka as well. One of the rookies forgot to press it off, and when he took the turn, his car just slid off and slammed into a wall. So, DRS is very interesting. In Indycar, they have what's called push-to-pass, where they just give more power by the hybrid to the engine. F1 does that anyway, but it's not a push-to-pass thing. It's kind of like a more consistent power over time, so your whole lap could be faster. At least electronically, and that's how IndyCar does it. But in F1, and they changed the rules this year, they'll probably change them next year for the new regulations, I believe. After the first lap, if you are 1 second behind the driver in front of you, you get DRS. It makes it so you can pass more. kind of like in NASCAR, like since there's so much drag in F1, and if you're above, like in front of someone and get clean air, which means there's not really a driver in front of you, which means your engine's getting clean air. If you have a race car in front of you, that's hot air going into your engine. NASCAR doesn't really have to deal with that because they don't care about too much about air intake. They don't have tiny engines that produce like NASCAR have 1.5 liter V6s that produce 750 horsepower. Well, I believe NASCAR has like 6 liter V8s that produce, I think, 1,000 horsepower too, but it might be like 800. When F1 cars as a whole produce 1,000 horsepower, but the hybrid produces we have a 250 to make up for that 750 to equal 1,000. Next year, it's going a straight 50-50. So this is why a lot of people like F1 too, because since a lot of people have hybrid systems in their cars, it's very equatable to real life, and that's kind of a part of F1 and the whole point. After Oscar, we had Charles Leclerc for Ferrari in 4th, George Russell with Mercedes in 5th, Kimi in 6th, Lewis in 7th. Isaac Hadjar had a really good race for Racing Bulls, and he came in 8th. Alexander Albon for Williams in 9th, and another good rookie. Just like Isaac and Kimi, the top 10 had 3 rookies this week. Oliver Behrman for Haas got top 10. He beat out Alonso, Yuki Tsunoda in his home race. Just a crazy race. Lance Stroll did get last. He was plus a lap on everyone. So that's very bad, but he's a bad driver, so. And like I said, but another problem too with McLaren is that like they aren't really doing too well with the team aspect where like they could play off each other. So there were times where Oscar was going faster, but Lando doesn't let him pass because he was ahead of him and ahead of him on qualifying, which I kind of agree with. And there were times in the race that they could have actually pressured Max Verstappen a little bit more if they actually decided to do that and like flip Oscar and Lando. And this happened last year, but I understand why they do what they do now. It's kind of fair, and that's what racing traditions, and I kind of agree with that. That like if you're ahead of your partner, you're kind of, because each team has 2 drivers, competitive driver. You kind of get to stay ahead. And Lando was ahead of Piastri for a bit, and they went back and forth, so it's not the worst thing ever. So I'm a little bit nasally today. I really appreciate all the views and likes, and I hope people are having a good time and a good night. Next talk is Guardians opening day at home. I actually was able to go to this game with a person I do our Sunday show with, a Healthy Living show. Trevor. He's a good friend of mine. And his uncle has season tickets, and it was very cold and didn't want to go, and we went because I could throw on some long johns and bring some hand warmers. So that was a good time. The Guardians ended up winning, I believe, by 1. I'm going to check that because I'm pretty sure no one scored for a bit, but it may have been 2-1. But I'm pretty positive it was 1-0. I do know they won in a walk-off walk. Yep, 1-0, walk-off walk. So, no extra innings, just bottom of the 9th. It was a pretty good game. Nolan Jones draws a walk. So that was a good time. It was time to go to. It was fun and good to go to the game. It was very cold, so that wasn't too fun. But seeing the Guardians home opener was awesome. Next, I'm gonna go over a quick NASCAR recap for last week and this week. I do believe NASCAR raced. So the Goodyear 400 at Darlington finished on April 6th at 3 o'clock. Danny Hamlin got first for Toyota, number 11. William Byron got second, Chevrolet 24. Is it Chris Bell? Yeah, it is. Got third for Toyota, number 20. Tyler Reddick got fourth, Toyota 45. Ryan Blaney, Ohio native, Ford, number 12, got fifth. I wonder if he's still driving that Menards bad boy. That Bussier, how do you say his name? Ford, 17. Number 17, got 6. Ross Chastain, Chevy, number 1, got 7. Elliott, 8th. Gibbs, 9th. Which Bush is this? Kyle Busch, I don't know if you have one still racing. Got 10th. Logano got 13th. Cindric got 11th. Dillon got 16th. Allmendinger got 18th. I don't think Allmendinger is good anymore. Bubba Wallace got 21st. Not the best for him. Stenhouse Jr. got 25. I don't think he's good anymore. And Bowman got 35th. He got last. Oof. Damn. For 4 days from Jimmy Johnson. Barry, Lawson, and Yealy both DNF'd. Guessing crashed. For Ford City, 500 is this weekend. Sunday, April 13th at 3 p.m. at Bristol Motor Speedway for the Cup Series. And I think Indycar was still waiting on the, Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach. Should be a very fun one. April 13th, this Sunday at 4:30. I'll probably be watching that. Long Beach is a good time in California. I'll be having a good time in Long Beach. Listen to a lot of Sublime. Right now, I already went over the state of the Penguins pretty much. They're changing up a lot of their lineups and rotations, is what they call them in hockey, to different people and to see how it would work. So we'll have to see how that works out. I really do think it could help them out, especially if they're age issues, but they still have age issues and they're still bad. Have a bad goalie because they don't play defense, so they're just never going to be good. Right now, I will give a quick update on the Cavaliers. Cleveland Cavaliers. They're up by 1 with 8 minutes left in the fourth, and I'll probably throw that on in the background I have here in a bit. They are 63-16. So, same as last week. Or maybe I probably updated that. This weekend, we have the F1 Bahrain Grand Prix, Middle Eastern Grand Prix. The weekend warm-up was today at 4, I don't know actually what time it was. And there's also F1 through F3 happening. But for the Bahrain Grand Prix, Friday, free practice 1 is at 7:30. Free practice 2 is at 11. This is local time. 12 hour, not 24. Saturday, actually that's 24 hour, my bad. Saturday, practice 3 is at 8:30. Pre-qualifying starts at 11:30. Qualifying is at 12. And post-qualifying starts at 1 p.m. or 1300. Pre-race shows at 10 a.m. or I don't know, 1000. Yuck. Races at 11 a.m. and post-race show is at 1 or 1300. Should be a good race. This is the track that they do the pre-race testing at, which is when they just do a bunch of laps and try to learn their new cars for the year at the beginning of the year. So it should be a good race, and I think Ferrari was looking well, and same with Mercedes. So I'm excited for that. Hopefully they learned and they have upgrades. I know Ferrari's having a new floor for this weekend, so it should be a good time. That's pretty much all my topics for this week, if I'm being honest. I do see we have one viewer, so I do appreciate you watching, and I do appreciate anyone watching the video on demand. Hopefully you could see that audio eventually started, and you were able to listen to me, or at least skip the 10 minutes. I'll probably edit it tomorrow morning or tonight on YouTube. So once again, you can see the live scores below me. Cleveland's now up 102-97. That's really cool. Because I think, on the Pacers. Yep. All right. So you can see the live scores below me for the NHL and also the NBA. If you guys have any comments, any suggestions or ideas for the show, once again, I'm sorry Hunter couldn't make it. Hopefully he can make it next week and I actually show a video as well. Because I think he was able to do it once. But sometimes he has to do laundry, which I get. And then he can't show video. So I hope everyone's having a good night. Everyone has a great night. Rest of a Thursday and a Friday. Start to your almost Friday times. Friday's pretty easy. Thank God it's Friday. And then have a good weekend. Get some relaxing done. I'll probably take a break from the music den this weekend. I want to get a guest on our next show. And it might have to be later because I'll probably pick my girlfriend Brandy. And then Sunday, we'll probably have Healthy Life with me and Trevor. And then once again, Monday we'll have our 6th episode of A Week Ahead with me and Tommy. Very excited for that. Lots of things going on right now between the government and flip-flopping on tariffs that's messing the economy up, and then also talking about showers. So they're definitely trying to throw a lot of wrenches into the goofiness. So that's fun. I hope everyone has a good weekend. Gets to enjoy some baseball now that we're back. Some basketball. Football will be starting up here soon. We have a draft. We're gonna have a draft here soon in April. Next week. Next week. A week and a half. 2 weeks from now, pretty much. It's normally on a Thursday and end of April. Have a great night, everybody.